so a question I commonly ask the guys is, justify your existence, right?
Yeah.
And so, and they all know it now, except for the new guys. So when
They'll learn.
yeah, I've built out some trainings based on that.
Yeah.
Because I'm really, we'll probably get into it, but from my past, right, went from purposeless to purposeful.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's super important to me. And so that's kind of, I think, the bread and butter, because if you're out in the field and your purpose, you find, because most people's purpose they find is to serve in some sort of capacity, serve the world, whatever it is. And we're in a service industry.
That's right.
So if you can figure that out about yourself, and then your number one thing to do when you're in that customer's house is just give them the best service, no matter what.
What's your training look like? Like, what's you doing every day, or what?
Yep.
Good for you.
So we have a Monday through Friday. Now, depending on jobs, like if there's something really crazy, sometimes we got to get techs out the door sooner rather than later, because they've got a huge, massive project that they're working on.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, when everything's rolling good, Monday is going to be like a soft skill. It's going to be a sales day, right? So I'm going to introduce a new concept or a concept that we've already trained on, and then we're going to dial it in. And then on Tuesday, we do role playing. If we have time for Monday role play, we will, but normally we don't, because we're talking about things and the techs have questions.
Yeah.
And then based on their questions, we'll roll it into what the role play is, and we'll go into different scenarios, right? Whether it's the beginning of the call, which is normally what it is. Like Monday and Tuesday, we're really focused on that first impression.
Sure.
And making sure that like we're hitting all our points
right
in the beginning. And because that, in my eyes, right, if you can handle 99% of the objections up front, why don't you? Right?
Yeah,
and you
for
can
sure.
build that into your process, and then by the end of it,
it's just collecting money.
It should be just collecting money, right?
In theory, yeah. That's great. That's great. So, okay, that's Monday, Tuesday. What's the rest of the week then?
So Wednesday's a longer day. We have an hour of training or 2 hours of training. Sorry, on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So that varies, right? That could be iPad skills, right? Could be, Service Titan or stuff like that.
Yeah.
We just started recording calls. So going over calls.
You use Arilla to do that, or is that something?
No, we don't use Arilla. We use Service Titan. Just came out.
Oh, they have.
one.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because it's already integrated.
Yep.
And we just launched. I'm trying to look at the sign back there because I can't remember the name of it. But the one where you take the pictures of the job and real work.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've been doing that. So we launched all this kind of at the same time. So we're like navigating that. But also a lot of the times my Wednesday training is about vision and purpose.
Wow. Okay.
Because to me, at least what's been the most helpful for me is like I have a vision for my life and I have a purpose.
Yeah.
And without that, when you're out in the field,
right,
there's
grinding.
You don't have any. Yeah, it's grind.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that. I use that word all the time, right? Getting out of bed is like, oh, why am I here? Why am I doing this, right?
Yeah.
So you need purpose, right? Because anybody can say, well, to make money, that's why I go to work, but why? And so a question I commonly ask the guys is, justify your existence, right?
Yeah.
And they all know it now, except for the new guys. So when
they'll learn.
I've built out some trainings based on that.
Yeah.
Because I'm really, we'll probably get into it, but from my past, right, went from purposeless to purposeful.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's super important to me. And so that's kind of, I think, the bread and butter, because if you're out in the field and your purpose, you find, because most people's purpose they find is to serve in some sort of capacity, serve the world, whatever it is. And we're in a service industry.
That's right.
So if you can figure that out about yourself, and then your number one thing to do when you're in that customer's house is just give them the best service, no matter what. I don't care who you are, your numbers are going up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. To transfer energy almost.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. What's the rest of the week look like training-wise?
Thursday's technical training.
Okay.
And then Friday is going to be like a role playing, like objections and stuff like that, or some fun stuff like spinning the wheel, or we throw darts. We got a dart board.
Nice.
So that's how we celebrate. Is we throw darts and there's different prizes for hitting different parts on the dartboard
That's
and
fun.
stuff like that.
So when do you, I mean, this is the challenge we always get, or here at Certain Path, it's like, oh, I got to do training. What do I do? What do I come up with stuff? You schedule 5 days of it, right? Mm-hmm. Where do the ideas come from? When do you sit down and be purposeful about, okay, on that Monday we were going to talk about this step of the call. Like when do you do that?
Well, I'm really involved with my techs, so they are very comfortable with me. If they're struggling with something, they're going to come to me about it. At least I hope. That's my perception of it right now.
Yeah.
And so, like, I have an ongoing list. When they bring something up, I'll write it down.
Smart.
And so I'll have that list, and I will look into whatever I can do to make that training happen.
Yeah.
Another thing is sales podcasts. There's so many out there.
Yeah.
And, like, I listen to them, and, like, I'll choose one, and this is what I'm listening to all week on repeat.
Okay.
Right? Because you only consume about, I think it's like 10% or something.
It is.
Yeah.
It's why it's short, because I listen. That's why I started this thing, because I'm a podcast junkie. But you're like, I listen to it all the time, but I'm like, like I re-listen to stuff because you don't retain it all.
Yeah.
Especially if you're listening while doing other things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I'll have one on repeat all week.
Yeah.
And I at least try to be attentively listening to it at least 10 times throughout the week.
That's great.
Because then that's the magic number, I think, for 80%, I think.
Yeah. I just know it by what's happened with me. I don't know the stat, but for sure, I understand what you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of my trainings get born from, right?
Okay,
I'll hear
cool.
something.
Oh, there you go.
But I'm also super passionate about the personal development stuff.
Yeah.
And that's my guys. We have one girl, so guys and girls.
Yeah.
That they love. Those are their favorite trainings. Is when we start talking about vision, we start talking about purpose, and getting to those places, and we check in. Everyone knows what everyone's goals are.
That's amazing.
We've had people tearing up in the office on Wednesday, like
That's
talking
cool.
about these things.
Yeah.
We'll do. I'll have everyone close their eyes, and I'm like, I want you to imagine your vision right now, and you're pursuing it, and you are achieving it, right?
Yeah.
Because the real thing is that high vision that you have, that goal, right? The purpose,
Yeah.
right, is generally unachievable, right? You can only be achieving it,
Yeah.
or not be achieving it.
Yeah.
So like, there's no like end,
Right.
not like an ending spot. So
Right.
that one just came to me because that's just part of what I do.
Yeah.
And so actually a guy I know, a really good friend of mine, he asked me that phrase every time he sees me is justify your existence. And so that's what I built that training series off of, is
That's
that
so
phrase.
cool.